Hey guys, welcome back to another Ratchet teardown video. As always, before we start, if you find this type of content interesting or helpful, please give me a like, share, and subscribe. Okay, today we have Pittsburgh Pro 1/2" drive extendable ratchet 72 teeth. Okay, has 5% arc swing, and it is made in Taiwan. Okay, here's the ratchet. It extends. You push down this collet and it extends all the way out to, it says 18 inches, but from all the way on the top to the bottom to all the way in the bottom, I measured like 18 1/4. And it goes up and down when you depress this collet, and it has different dimples there. So I think they maybe like an inch or an inch and a half between the dimples. So if you don't want to go to the full 18 inches extended, you can go to whatever, 14, 16, 18, 16, 15, or however many. Has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the last dimple. So anywhere between here and where it is, you can extend it to. It locks in place. Okay, to take this handle apart, you just pull the collet down. You see there's a ring here? There's a ring here underneath the lip of the collet. Okay, you can take your nail like that, or pick and just take that ring out. Let's go around. Oops. You can take that ring out like that and slide it up the neck. Okay, now you can slide the collet up. Be careful because there's a ball bearing that sits in the hole that locks the positions. So when you move up the collet, this small ball bearing is gonna probably fall out, but it sits in that hole like that. Here's a look at the ball bearing. Okay, then you have the spring, the collet spring. And there's another ring here on the bottom that keeps the collet from going all the way down, keeps the spring in place from sliding all the way down. You can take that out, but I just leave it there. Okay, the next part is you're gonna pull it out slowly. Make sure that hole is lined up with this line. Pull it out slowly. There's another ball bearing in there on the spring tension. Don't just pull it out. If you pull it out, it's gonna fly all the way up. It's under pretty good tension and it's gonna fly across the room. So what I do is I put my finger here and I pull it out and I catch it. And here's the ball bearing. It's a bigger ball bearing than the first one. That's what it looks like. Okay, and under that ball bearing, there's a spring in that hole. This is what the spring looks like. Okay, now you can slide your collet spring out. Your collet. And that first retaining ring. Here's your pipe portion of the handle. It's just hollow. There's nothing in there. It looks like a pipe. Okay, to take apart the head section, you're gonna need a T15. And you're gonna need a T8. Okay, here are your screws. You just unscrew them. They did put a little blue Loctite on the end of the screw there. Your other screw has a little Loctite on it also. Okay, now you switch and you go to the T8 torques. There's another screw here for the switch. Here's the screw. That also has a little Loctite on it. Okay. You pull up on the gear and you take the retaining plate out. This is what the plate looks like. Kind of light. A little thin. Not too bad. Here's your gear. You pull that out. This is what your gear looks like. 72 teeth. It's also quick release. And it has this metal ring around the front, the amble side of the gear. Okay. There's your switch and the poles. The poles are marked, so I guess you can't make a mistake getting them back in. They have these springs on the side. This is a tried and true design. This design was first introduced by Plum Proto back in like the 30s and 40s, so this design is pretty well established. There's the pole a wide pawl. Has 4 teeth, rounded at the bottom. Here's your other spring. That's what the springs look like. They're the usual cone springs you find in this type of mechanism. There's your right paw. And then there's the switch. This is what the mechanism housing looks like. It's all chromed in there. You see they put like a tiny bit of grease just right there. That's about it. And this is what the switch looks like. The switch is made of metal. It's all one piece. I don't know, I've seen some demonstrations of this ratchet online. It seems like a pretty strong ratchet. So it's not bad. And this cost, the regular price is $19.99. And there's a coupon that Harbor Freight has. It has no expiration on it, and you can get any Pittsburgh Pro ratchet $5 off. So $19.99 with the $5 off. This was $14.99. There's like a hole at the end. That's the hole where the spring and ball sits in. It's solid. This is a solid piece. Okay. To put this back together, you take your pawls. The right goes in the right. The left goes in the left. Take your spring. With the wide part of the spring against the wall here, you put in your springs. Like that. Then you switch over and you compress the spring to give enough room to get under this paw so you can put that spring in. Like that. Pull the spring a little bit down towards the center more. Okay. Push that one a little bit more down. All right. So now you take your gear, you drop it back in. You take your plate, put your plate, make sure that the detent in the hole is the outside and the flat part of the hole is in the inside, like that. You drop your plate in, you get your switch screw, your small switch screw. You put it in. And you screw in finger tight. Don't over torque this because you're gonna strip that small screw. And you take your plate screws, you switch over to the T15. You get them, those screws in. Finger tight. Maybe a little bit more tighter, but not that much. You don't want to strip these screws. Okay. You test out your mechanism. It's working. Okay, now for the handle. You take your retaining ring, the first one you took out, you put that one on the handle. You take your collet with the arrow on the collet facing down towards the handle, like that. You take your spring, you put it inside the collet like that. You take your smaller spring, you put it inside the hole at the handle. You take your larger ball bearing, you put it on top of the spring, you hold it down, and then you slide it in, holding down the ball bearing till it clicks in that hole. Okay. Now you push it in to where the hole is going to be lined up with this hole. Like that. You put in your small, whoop, there it goes. You put in your small ball bearing inside that hole. Like that. You put your spring and your collet over the spring. You hold it down like that. And then now you get your retaining ring on that lip in there, in that cutout. All right. And it snaps. There goes the ring. It snapped back in place in that cutout. Okay, now test it out, see if it's working correctly. Push the collet down to the next. Twist it. It's not twisting. Next one. Yep. And you extend it. Yep, it's working. Okay, that's the teardown of the Pittsburgh Pro 1/2 inch drive extendable ratchet. Okay, take care.